We are ready to embark on our 6th day as a recycling centre manager. So we wake nice and early at 9 a.m. Our working day finishes at 9 p.m, giving us plenty of time to take those precious scrap deals. So we got $448 there to work with. And just to quickly have a look at what contracts we might be able to fulfill. So we can currently process paper, plastic, and now wood. So if we have a look in the waiting queue, then we can see that we got 2 deals there. One requires 36, one requires 48. Both of those require 54 pressed plastics, not an awful lot of difference in the value there. And lastly, paper, 48 or 54. So we sold our paper products in the previous episode. We got some recyclable materials here. So what we can do is organic plastic we can process. Let's get that going. Put that in, and if you remember from previous episodes, then we've set the production queue to the maximum, which means that as soon as we chuck anything in the machines here, it's going to start producing our materials. We got some sorry looking pallets here, so let's we'll take those over when we come to process our materials. Now this will be the first time that we've made wood chippings. Very exciting. Set that going. We can't currently process metal, and you can see at the bottom of the screen there's very little in these boxes at the moment, so it's worth letting these build up initially. So we've got quite a bit of metal there, we've got quite a lot of organic. I'm not entirely sure what the capacity is in total. We've only got 4 there, but because we can use this on the machine, let's do so. And then we better get on and take those scrap deals whilst daylight's burning. So we've got a lot of metal there that we can't process. These 2 are predominantly wood. So I'll tell you what, for today, although we try and fit as many jobs in as possible, let's focus on the wood, because we know we can process that. And that should get us some cash and hopefully reputation. So as always, let's try and drive a hard bargain. $60 was a little bit too low, so let's either take 70. 79. I'll give you 73. 73, a fair price. Deal done, thank you, sir. Kelly wants 112. I'm going to go down 20 this time rather than 30. Okay. So what I've also noticed is the text here kind of gives a little bit of indication as to whether they think their products might be well priced or not. And then last but not least, we shall take this one because we've got some paper in there, a bit of plastic, it's not too bad. $85. We've got 283 to work with. We're going to knock that one down 20. So that what I can do is in this video is, rather than just going and collecting the scrap, because you're familiar with that, although you might enjoy watching that, is we can do that and then get some production type stuff done, because we're not the most organized at the moment. Okay, shut the van up. So what we'll do is we'll go and collect the scrap. Kieran here will put it on the sorting machine and sort it. We'll get our produced goods onto a pallet into the storage area and get more products in there, into the machines, and then see if we can make some dollars. Here we are at our first site. So there's quite a bit of organic stuff here actually. So whilst we can't process organics, we can of course sell them. We're turning our cash into, sorry, it's the wrong way around, isn't it? Cash into trash. We're turning our trash into cash, and we're also saving the planet at the same time. Not all heroes wear capes, as they say. So it'd be nice to get this reputation nudged up a bit, open a few more different options just to make our lives a little bit more easy, a bit more efficient. This isn't locked, but even if it was, we do have the lockpick at the moment. I say at the moment, the lockpick is a one-time purchase and then you can use it as many times as you'd like. As you can probably see, the environments, yeah, there is repetition, but they do increase as you go through the repetition levels. You wouldn't expect them to have masses of different varieties of sites, really. And this does feel a bit more rounded than some of the other simulators, as I've mentioned. Just listen to that. That's the sweet spot. There does seem to be a lot that have been, or seem to have been converted from PC games, where they seem to be pretty much the same bones, if you like, so the same kind of layouts and character models, with a kind of a veneer of a different type of shop or something over the top of them. Which might tick some boxes for some people. I mean, they tend to be not as expensive, so it really, I suppose, depends on what you're looking for. And it is nice that the PS5 kind of opened up that world a little bit, I suppose, in that on a lot of consoles, the generational changes come with quite noticeable upgrades to graphics. And yeah, there is an improvement on PS5. Would I say it's leaps and bounds different from the PS4? Not massively, but mainly the benefits are in the performance. So obviously it's got a better processing power and capacity, because I can't imagine trying to run games of today's file sizes on those old consoles. Off to our next site, that's that one done. And I do like, we're very fortunate in that we've had most consoles at one time or another. Be interested to know what your favourite was. Do you go for the nostalgic? Is it the Super Nintendo? Have you always been a PlayStation type? Oh, it's all about what was fresh at that time. So I loved the PS2, even the PS1 actually, and then they started making the slim ones where they were tiny or smaller, and it just really came down to timing. The Xbox 360 came out before the PlayStation 3, and actually it just had a really good catalogue of games. If you think back to the original Assassin's Creed, you know, that was groundbreaking at the time. Other ones I can think of, Fable was great. Just a lot of really good games on the Xbox 360. And so to the point that I never actually owned a PS3. I'd always been a PlayStation person. The PS5 came out at just the right time, really. Nice, sleek design. Not a massive fan of the stand. They've kind of made that a bit flimsy. But it's good that there's different options so that it's more entry level if you get the digital version, so that people can still have a PlayStation 5. You know, a couple of years ago, a terabyte worth of storage would be unheard of, would be absolutely massive. But even now, as I said, we've actually purchased some additional storage. So with the PS4, so I go through my my entire gaming history. With the PS4, I got the very first PSVR headset when that came out, which was just mind-blowing. I remember as I would even then, I would have been, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get this one, as a middle-aged man, collecting that from the shop and coming home with it in the bag. I was so excited to give it a go, and then to have people kind of share that experience, because it's just kind of day and night different from anything that I'd done before. Bit clunky with all the wires and boxes and things, and whereas now you hear about people kind of punching through the TVs and stuff, God, those wires were a pain. Graphically, not the best. As they call it, screen door, where you could see the pixels, but just the immersion was really something else. And then even before that, going back to the Xbox Kinect, where it had the camera and it would track your real world movements. Still remember when game shops were a lot more prevalent, that they would have one or two of the units on display and you could watch people playing them and think, my God, that's amazing. And then of course the Wii as well. Started off with the Wii, then they introduced the Wii Fit, which was the balance board, and that kind of was a different genre of game then. It was kind of short, sharp. I don't think I'd be able to pick that one up actually. So in the interest of the video, we're going to leave with that 100% completion. But yeah, that was kind of geared more, I suppose, towards the family market, and that's continued with the Switch, where they did an upgrade to the graphics as well. So it'll be interesting to see what comes next, actually. I did get a gaming laptop as well, because I was going to try and capture some Steam game footage, because there's quite a lot of content on Steam. So it seemed to be as well, there was a lot of kind of early access type situations where you could request early access and try and get some content out that was kind of the latest fad or the next upcoming thing, which I enjoyed. I'm more of a console gamer, so getting used to a keyboard and mouse was a bit more challenging. It was good in that you could capture the footage quite easily. But you see all these videos now, don't you, where these people playing games where they're talking to chat, which is like you can tell I'm very technically minded, talking to chat. I suppose like a live stream type thing where people are adding comments, and they'd be halfway through a game and someone would gift them some money or something. It's a whole new world out there. So we are a family of gamers, really, to the point where my daughter's friends were very impressed that myself and my fiance would hop onto Fortnite and squad up with them. We played that for quite a while, and then that's kind of been replaced, because again, there's so many different types of games these days at decent price points as well, so that you can have something fresh and exciting quite often. Yeah, and then also there's been some good deals as well. So if you're not too precious about getting the latest game on the day that it drops, then you can pick up some really good deals there. I remember hearing about Hogwarts Legacy and thinking, oh, that sounds like it could be interesting. And then managed to pick that up for, I think it's about 15 quid in the end. And that was a kind of 75 quid to game. And I'm not at that point really where I can justify paying that sort of money. Although I am very excited about the prospect of the new Grand Theft Auto. They have just always been incredible games. And so that one, the trailer's out actually, and I was going to try and record it and talk through it and upload it to the channel, but unfortunately I can only capture in-game footage at the moment, so it wouldn't allow me to do that. But graphically it looks almost kind of like a film. So GTA 5 was just huge, absolutely huge, so in depth that I did play the missions when it first came out and massively enjoyed it. But it's got to the point now where with those sorts of games, so within that category I'd put Red Dead 2 in there, and I suppose like Fallout games, things like that, there's just so much to do that it can be a bit overwhelming if you're not one of those people that's got kind of 5-6 hours of free time a day to really put into it. And I wasn't in that position, so I'd start a mission and then get completely sidetracked, and before I'd known it I'd kind of played for an hour and not really achieved much of anything. But I do like the Rockstar games it's that tongue-in-cheek humour, and I really, with the Vice City kind of episodes, if you like, all that 80s music and the radio stations, just really made it. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of approach they take this time, whether they go for ultra realism, because when I watched the trailer, the first thing I thought it was Inzoi. So there's this, I think it's just out on Steam at the moment, or it's in early access, and it's kind of like a Sims type game where it's like ultra realistic and detailed, so you essentially almost living a second life in the game. And I did get those vibes, sorry to use a trendy word when I'm not very trendy, did get those sort of vibes from the trailer for GTA 6 as it will be. Okay, Kieran, you do your thing. I am going to get the recycling that we already have and pop it into our storage. And I know I'm going off at a bit of a tangent, but I just didn't want to do videos where I talked about the same game mechanics. But just generally speaking, early access does seem to be the latest kind of trend, doesn't it? In that you can pay a lesser price to get on board early. So it's almost like you're a paying play tester. Because the games are so huge that, you know, for the developers to pay people to sit there for hours and hours on end looking for bugs in the game, one, they'd have to pay them, and two, it delays the release date. Whereas putting them into early access means that they can kind of iron out the bugs as they go. And you're buying into that in an extent. If you get an early access game, then you know that it's not the completed product. But I think it's a useful way to kind of get on board with a game early. And that more so tends to be the case with VR titles. How are we getting on, Karen? You're nearly done. We'll put the plastic into the recycler. I've completely forgot my own plan. I was going to get these, tidy up these bits, wasn't I? Let's grab some pallets and see if we can't tidy this up a bit. Made a bit of a mess here, haven't we? So when we highlight a product and then a palette, we can move multiple of them in one go. Looks like we might have a decent amount of plastic here to hopefully fulfill a contract, because it looks like we're just about ready to hit our next reputation level. So I'm going to do a bit of efficiency here, because we know that we're going to need another pallet of plastics, and then we've not quite got a full pallet here. So we'll take this over to our machine so that we can top it up, and we'll take our full pallet over there, tidy up our yard a bit. There we go, that's 2 full pallets, looking good. And get this, get this one. Can we fill 3? That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Small dreams. Filling 3 pallets is not much to want out of life, is it? Okay, so we're going to have, so we get 30 per pallet, so we know we've got 60, let's do some maths, 69 pressed plastics there, so we should be able to fulfill a contract with that. But to be able to do that, it needs to be in our storage area. So let's get on and do that. And once again, it doesn't have to be ultra neat and tidy. You just need to be able to get your sack truck back out again, like so. Because as soon as you sell these products, they are going to disappear. So as you progress through the game, then obviously you might need to find efficiencies with the storage, because there's going to be bigger and bigger quantities needed to fulfill the contracts, and also different types of combinations of products, I believe. So I haven't quite reached that point myself, but my partner has many more play hours in this game than I do, to the point where it is a bustling hive of mini robots carting various products around the storage area. So when you get to that level, you increase your yard, and then you will designate an area, a type of product I should say, per area, and that's so that those little robots know where they're delivering the goods. I reckon Kieran must have worked his magic by now. So we'll go and see what other treasures we can start to process. Okay, so we'd ask you to unload it. If you could sort it, that would be massively helpful. Thank you, Kieran. That is efficiency. That's why Kieran gets the big bucks. He is a god amongst men, because that took 3 seconds. That's why he's a 3-star worker. Everybody after him. And he's working way beyond his working hours. I'm sure we're contravening some kind of working laws. So as well as recycling, we are, when we get the crowbar that is, we're going to be doing a bit of breaking and entering to steal gold bullion from various sites. And tills, potentially. Using a lockpick. Okay, we didn't have metal, did we? I was just, yeah, sorry. We don't have the capacity to recycle metal just yet. We can do plastic. There's not an awful lot in there, but as we are on our production run, let's chuck that in. That should leave us, I think, is this glass? Glass, only 2 kilos. Probably could have left it there. But what we'll do is these raw materials that we've got stacked up over here, we shall sell on the marketplace just to round the day off nicely. So that will mean that we can make a bit of cash, fulfill a contract, get up to reputation level 5, and then hopefully that puts us in a position where we can make a decision regarding, I've got some paper here, if we'd like to invest in another machine or something else. Because we only need a little bit of working capital to be able to do the scrap deals and cover our wage bill, which isn't huge. So I am motoring through the episodes tonight because it is Friday evening. I don't know yet if what I will do is upload them en masse or drip feed them through. But it's good to have it in the bag Pun intended. What I shall probably do in on or before episode 10 of this series is in the comments is I'll pop in a couple of options for what could be the next series, and go with popular demand, albeit that I know it takes a long time for any kind of YouTube channel to build a following, and for a good while my loyal viewers are also my immediate family. I'm not sure how interested they will be in the vote, so don't leave me hanging. Actually, we didn't need those on that pallet. There's a half empty one there. You could be the difference. Your vote could be the difference. So it might be the only vote. And even George the Parrot is asking you along on the journey. If you could, not sure whether that picks up on the audio. He knows quite a few words. Thankfully, none of them are swear words, so we're not going to get banned, hopefully. Right, that's a good day's work. Let's go and make some cash before we complete the video. So, contracts. We have not much paper. We got 15 in storage. We should have a healthy amount of plastic though. So we have 75. Let's see if we can get an extra $100. Beautiful, easy $100 there. Deal. Get it delivered. So we've got new areas, look at that. And we can employ a trash collector, so we can send somebody out to go and do some jobs for us. Lumber line, we know we could process some wood. We're just one shy of being able to fulfill that order. We can't process any glass yet, so those are the contracts that we can fulfill. Let's sell certainly our organic waste, because we've got 148. Everyone's offering, or most are offering $3. I just wanted to see whether I could do multiple at the same time actually. So one bit of feedback I'd have is it'd be good if you could like have an automatic sell button, so that if there's not a particularly good standout price, that you could just kind of say, well, you know, sell as many as I've got to each person to their capacity. I mean, it's not the end of the world, it's not massively taxing, but just a little recommendation. We've got 53 left, so we're into 4-figure cash now, which we've not really been throughout this particular series, but we've been reinvesting our money back into our operation. Okay, so that was good. Plastic, paper, always good to keep. Pretty much anything that you can produce. So the fact that we've got wood parts and only 37 sawdust means that somewhere we've not put our wood into the machine. We got nearly 50 kilo there. So sorry if this is bleeding over my intended half an hour mark, but this means that we can fulfill that sawdust order. Ideally, because we could fit a lot more on that pallet, I would usually bring that over. Just keep everything neat and tidy, but again, just for the sake of this video, let's just get it produced and sold. So the benefit of a trash collector is that we can, as we've seen with Kieran, we can go over and talk to them and ask them to go out and collect the trash for us, so we can do more jobs essentially. So when you employ a trash collector, you'll also be prompted that there's a cost of their van. Now, as I understand it, I haven't really done that bit in any great depth. They should go to the site and collect 100% of the materials, but if there are any locked areas, then they're not going to break into those. If there are any tills, they're not going to break into those. If there's any trunks or chests with the gold bars in, they're not going to get those, but you do need to be level 6 anyway to get the crowbar. So that's the risk really, is that you could miss something extra on the site, but it means that you can build up a network of people that go and do those scrap jobs for you. Okay, so that's nice. We have piled it high on our pallet, and that's going to be plenty to satisfy that contract. As always, needs to be in the storage area to be recognised, so I'm literally just going to dump it in like that. Sorry to anybody that has any form of OCD. I would normally be much more organised myself as well, I've got to say. So we know that we can now fulfill our... We could probably do the 48 actually. Sorry if you can hear me getting up and down here. It's because I can't actually see the text on the screen that well from across the room. So I reckon, do we want to be overly greedy? Let's just whack 100 on there. So when they accept straight away, it does kind of make you think that you probably could have eked a bit more money out of them, but that's fine. So deal, deliver that. That gave us a nice chunk of reputation level there, and also a nice chunk of cash. We've actually still got 38 in storage, so we can actually fulfill another one here and make some more money. So they both want the same quantity, but the starting price on the top one is higher, so we'll start with that. Let's again see if we can eke another 100. I was going to say, I wasn't convinced they were going to go for that this time, so we'll drop it down. Maybe $20, $30 or $40. 349, happy with that. And so we complete our deal. Send it out for delivery. More cash, more reputation. We're now gone over the 2,000. So we could have a look at what we can, how we can develop our yard So we could, of course, buy an extra machine to allow us to process more stuff, and the next ones are 800, so we could process some glass or metal. We don't have the reputation as yet to unlock any of that. We could unlock carry more. I don't find that a massive benefit, if I'm being honest. And let's see how much we would be paying a trash collector. So $34, it can carry up to 48 kilo. It's only $34 a day. Yes, he's only a 1-star worker. But I think that probably is the best use of cash. So we're going to have to buy a truck for 800, but I think that's money well spent. That sets us up nicely for the next working day, and as you can see over here, we have Aaron. Aaron is raring to go. So join me tomorrow when Aaron, Kieran and I embark on another day in Recycling Centre Simulator. Thanks for watching.